guys, what's up? Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliet Lex here on YouTube. Hi, hello, what's up? What's happening? Today's video is just a let's talk, and I just want to talk about Supernatural. Many people know that my favorite TV show of all time, hands down, is Supernatural. This show has been on the air since 2005. However, this upcoming season, season 15, is going to be its last season. So I decided that why not talk about it and maybe get some of you to watch it. So yeah, I started watching Supernatural while I was surfing through Netflix a couple years ago, and when I read the description of the show, I quickly realized that it was right up my alley. I have always gravitated towards paranormal shows or shows that have some sort of ghostly aspect. Shows like Ghost Whisperer, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, even shows with actual paranormal investigations like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. I have always kind of gravitated towards that type of genre. For some reason, I've always had a strange fascination with the unexplained, and even though I hate the horror film genre and scary movies, Supernatural and TV shows like this don't really bother me as much as like these quote unquote terror filled movies or whatever. So yeah, Supernatural was totally different. After watching the first episode, the pilot episode, I quickly realized that it was a mix between Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Ghost Whisperer, and thus began my quickly unhealthy obsession with the show, the characters, the villains, and to its core, Supernatural is a family show. It's all about family, the ties that bind people together, the main idea that family does not end in blood, and the sacrifices you make for your loved ones and of course your family. So I quickly gravitated towards the show and quickly became obsessed with it. The Winchesters' journey throughout the series is rough, filled with pain and loss, and their loyalty and love for each other always prevails. No matter the villain, no matter the monster of the week, they always end up figuring out what's the best course of action and doing things in their own way that for some reason always ends up in their favor. I really love the fact that the show takes a lot of risk. Not saying that the show is perfect in any way. I'm saying that the writers and the showrunners are not afraid of making their characters go through hell. And in Supernatural, the characters literally go through hell. Supernatural's beautiful cast of colorful characters really does help move the series along. The main characters like Dean and Sam, sure, they're great, but their side characters and their villain characters are just as popular, if not more. One of the most popular characters is Satan. Yes, Lucifer. Yes, the devil. He's one of the most colorful, bright, sarcastic, egotistical characters in the series who makes an overall antagonist to the Winchester brothers. And he's just one of the most beloved characters, and he's very well written, and he just has the best one-liners. He's one of the main antagonists in the series, but you just cannot help but root for the guy. Like, you want to see him win in a sort of way. It's weird, but that's just how brilliantly written and acted these characters are. Another great example of lovable villains is Crowley, the King of Hell. Yeah, he's one of the most beloved characters throughout the series. He's so likable. He tends to upstage every scene he's in. He's such a show stealer, and just his sarcastic, witty, just a flamboyant personality really makes him one of the most beloved characters in the season. In the series as a whole. Like many shows of this genre, Supernatural does have a villain of the week or a monster of the week that gets vanquished at the end of each episode. However, this isn't always the case. There is an overall plot that arcs through the whole narrative, and these little monsters are kind of like mini bosses to the big boss. So I would recommend watching Supernatural and starting from the very beginning, simply because there's just so much. Every little plot hole gets filled as you go along, and I say almost every little plot hole. I am talking about Adam, sorry. Hopefully you come back in season 15. I've heard rumors. Hopefully you do, because we need some closure to that character. And yeah, so definitely watch it from the beginning, and as you go through, things are going to start to make sense. You know, the reason why certain characters are how they are going to make sense as you go along. And yeah, every season does deal with the main baddie. Every season we get to learn a little bit more about the way that the world of Supernatural works. From ghosts to demons, angels, leviathans, interdimensional travel, Supernatural has tackled various different media and various different lore. From culturally mythical, historical standpoints, it has taken inspiration from all these different sources while still making the monsters or the lore very, very supernatural and putting their own spin on it. Take the pilot episode, for example. The monster that they encounter is the Woman in White, or as most popularly known as the Weeping Woman. You know, the one who drowns her children after she discovers that her husband was cheating on her, and filled with regret and guilt, she drowns herself, and now she haunts lakes, rivers, and various other bodies of water, searching for the souls of her children, and she's unable to go home. And they do this in Supernatural, taking one of the most notorious Hispanic, Mexican, you know, Latin America, this huge symbol, this huge legend of horror, and put their own supernatural spin on it. As the pilot episode start off so great. It's a great start to the season, to the series as a whole. And sure, you know, you follow the main narrative as you're watching them beat the Woman in White, or beat the Weeping Woman. You know, the boys are still trying to find their father who's missing, but at the same time have to beat the Woman in White. So that's what I mean by taking various monsters from different mediums and, you know, putting their spin on it while still being faithful to the original lore. So that is why I really, really like Supernatural. Even though I enjoy this series, I will be the first to say that the dialogue can sometimes be cheesy. Now, I'm not talking Riverdale cheese, but still very cheesy, CW cheesy, Arrow cheesy. In the first couple of seasons, it is very apparent. By season 4, the story really starts to pick up, and it makes the first 3 seasons seem like a piece of cake in comparison to what the characters are going to go through the remainder of the series. It does have some seasons that are not very on par with the rest of the series. For example, season 12 for me is one of their weakest seasons, and it's very apparent because of its previous season being one of the greatest installments in the series. So yes, some of the seasons are not as intense or as story driven or as scary as you go through, but that still does give us a lot of character development. So the journey that the brothers have gone through has been a sad one to witness, filled with pain, loss, and regret. And the brothers have always defied the odds and have been able to save each other and save the world many, many times. It's a terrible pain to carry and a terrible thing to have on your shoulders, and it is apparent as the series goes by. The older of the two goes from this sarcastic, funny, kind of immature, childish character who kind of seems like some, you know, college boy, and he turns into this warrior, this soldier, this dependable, fearless leader who's willing to make the biggest sacrifices for his family and the world. And you really do see him progress as a character. Sam, on the other hand, goes from this shy, kid with not enough self-confidence in himself and his abilities, someone who does not want to hunt, someone who does not want to be in this family business, ends up being a incredibly intelligent young leader, a warrior and a soldier. And it is a very sad thing to witness how their light starts to diminish towards the ends of the season. Dean was the funnier one in the first couple of seasons, making jokes here and there, always looking for a good time. And as the seasons go by, his change is more apparent because he stops making those jokes, stops hooking up with random women. His entire shift focuses on trying to be the guardian, trying to beat these monsters and these ghosts and these things, and he's the one that becomes one of the most feared hunters in the world. And yeah, I think when he took on this role of leader, we began to see some of his old antics kind of disappear, and he's no longer the Dean that we started the series following. Skill as a hunter are above Sam's, and he's stronger than any of the hunters around him, and everyone kind of looks up to what Dean has to say and what his plan is. He's the man with the plan, and he was even strong enough to become one of the princes of hell. Not a princess, but a prince of hell. Will not be as smart as Sam, but his ability to be able to adapt to situations and think on the fly have saved them on countless times. And he's just one of the most layered and broken characters of the series, and one of my favorite characters, if you're unable to tell. I am going to truly miss Supernatural, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, sad, super sad universe that it's living in. I do definitely think that there is so much more to do. There is so much more to explore. However, I do respect everyone who is involved in the show and everyone who chooses or has chosen to stop at season 15. And I just want to say thank you from all your fans. We love the show, and we will continue to love the show for as long as it may be. And yeah, I have purposely not read or seen anything that will spoil season 15 for me, because I want to finish the season knowing nothing. I want to just have the surprises and discover everything. And yeah, I hope everyone involved is doing their best, and yeah, I cannot wait for season 15. Let me know down below if you are a SPN family member, and if you like these characters as much as I do. Who's your favorite Supernatural character, anti-hero, villain, or monster? Alright guys, goodbye.